Well, this will be a little bit different video for you guys. I used to do a whole lot of this. What we're doing today is actually doing some pipe fabrication. When I worked for the nurseries years ago, I did all the what we call pump manifolds. Where we were at over there, we were in an irrigation district that had underground pipeline that fed all the farms, and the farmer was responsible for his, basically, you had about 10 to 12 psi on the pipeline, and it fed your boosters, and your booster pumps would boost the pressure, obviously, to your field. And most of the time, like the nurseries, we ran a parallel 50s, so we ran two 50s in parallel. And I mean, we could run both 50s at one time and do most of the field, but most of the time they would alternate because they were running solid set pipe. But this is an alfalfa field that's running a pivot. I got to figure out, because these guys here, they fence this stuff off. We got to get to where we can actually get over there with our crane. Where am I going to be here? Let's take a look at things here. I think, I wonder how hard it would be just to pull the fence down. Let's go look at stuff and let the pups out here, you know. Come on, guys. Come here, Gertie. Go run wild. You can run wild out here. Come here, dingus. Oh, you're a big heavy boy. Okay, so they hauled this one over to my shop, and most of the time, if everything looks square, I'll just build them right there. But, you know, I always come back and make sure, because they could have clocked these flanges different, so I always come back and weld my flanges on later in the field. That way all the holes line up. This one here, you see, they've been patched and they just rotted out. But see, they've cut this concentric reducer at a little bit of an angle, and that's when I was looking at that at my shop, and I was like, I think we better build this one in place, or shit's not gonna line up right. So, oh, where am I gonna get to get in here? It's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt with the fence, but it goes right here. So this is obviously the 10-inch section of it. Or is that the 10 or the 12? It had to be the 12. Don't have my tape with me. This looks like a 10-inch section here to me. Oh, shit. Let the bolts in it. But, yeah. This is the 6-inch. Where was it going to? I'll have to figure that out. Where in the hell were they bolting that to? I'll have to look at this a little bit. I redid all this last year. There was a couple other ones somewhere else that I did a bunch of work to, but oh, what am I doing? Okay, so the 12 is right here. 12 to 10. That's the 6-inch. The 6-inch is flanged in there. Okay. How hard would it be to take the wires down on that little fence? You know, how hard would that be? Kind of need to be over here. So I'm going to use my crane with a... It's just tied together right here. But it's not right here, though. Well, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? So all the bottom, see, the 3 bottom strands will come out fairly easy, but the 2 top strands are not going to be so nice. You know, what I can do, I guess I can undo the, you know, I can kneel down and go underneath that. That's what we'll do. Let me get backed up over here where we can go to work on this thing. Okay, so this is how that one was setting in there, which I really don't need this one. I mean, I can kind of, I guess they had a gauge or something there, and they probably had a drain. So, so they had a butterfly valve on the 12-inch section. Roll that away for now. Okay. So the butterfly valve went there. So I think what I'll do is I'll start on the 10-inch and go down and get this part right. I guess that's the first step we'll do. And then go to the 12. So let me get the 10-inch flange, a chunk of 10-inch pipe. So this is all 10 here. So the 10, yeah, we kind of have to get this. I got a couple 90s in there, but just have to make it work, you know. I'll measure from here to the center of my pipe to get center to center. It'll give me a pretty close to where I need to be here. It is a lot faster when you have the old one for an example and you can just measure. So it's about 13 inches from, you know, I'm gonna add, I need to add a quarter. Let's see here. Wait, how thick is that flange? Because I think those flanges are 1/2 inch and we want to go about a 1/4 inch inside. So I might have to I need to add about 4 inches, but I'm gonna have to add like 4 1/4 so I can get down in there. Now those are 1/2 inch thick, so let's add a 1/4 inch to our dimension here, because that 90, that pre-made 90 I bought, they're right at 9 inches to center. So let's go 4 1/4. Hopefully the ends are cut square. They look like they are. And what do I do with the wraparound? I thought I had it laying right here, I thought. Okay. Pretty good. All 3 marks lined up. Yep. This is just, I think, 12 gauge pipe. Pretty thin walled stuff. Kind of a trade-off. I've done some where I put some 3/16 wall heavier duty pipe, but the problem is handling it. You know, it's just everything's so freaking heavy. So I gotta cut that. Gotta fire the truck up, build some air, plug the plasma cutter in, fire the welder up. There's the air hose. We'll start off with that flange, kind of just squaring it up. And that's where the crane comes in handy. We'll get the, you know, we'll get the vertical drop and the length as close as we can. We'll have to, you know, I've had to tack those 90s on, those pre-made 90s, because I used to make all these 90s myself, but you can just buy these from Kearns Irrigation and just weld them on there. So you just got to get, you know, we might take their hook. I got a strap to it. I don't really need that hook. Pipe and then hold things up right where I need them to weld them in place and get things lined up with that flange. And then thing goes with the other one, the 6-inch piece. So anyway, let me get things fired up. These guys, this thin wall pipe, it's like you can tell on this one over here, these guys will throw it off the truck or something, and that's what happens, and it makes it out around. And it just really screws you when you're welding this thin wall shit back together. You gotta I'll have to get a hammer and beat on this side of the pipe and get some of it straightened out. I'll put the alligator in inside the flange here. We'll do a little bit of grind in there and clean it up a little bit, but we'll put that in there just like so. Just weld it in square like so. Just have to square it up. So anyway, it's a little bit warm. Okay, I'm running 25 suitcase welder, and I'm running 45 flux cord wire. So flux cord wire is straight polarity, what I call straight polarity. That means take your ground lead, put it on your positive, and then put your negative, your positive onto your negative, and then this one will run into your, and see these, and then the other thing, you got to set up one of these this is your voltage sense line, and you got to switch here for constant current or constant voltage. I'm on constant voltage, and we'll see. You got to make sure your switch here is set right too. You know, set to same polarity electrode. So we want to set that there, sense line. We'll fire this thing up. See where, I'm not really sure where I want my voltage. Since I welded with it, so I don't know. Gotta go over here and switch it to voltage sensing wire feeder. Okay. Let's see. Now I should. Don't really. Let's see what happens here. Do I have anything? reading any voltage on there? Yeah. What do I got my voltage at? 18 volts? I don't know. We'll just have to weld a little bit and see where we're at. Start dialing it in. Okay, well, let me tack that piece on there and I'll kind of see where I'm at as far as that goes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna meet in the middle. I'm gonna get this mocked up. This is so you don't have to have a gasket for these butterflies unless the gasket material that's on the butterfly valve gets all rotted out. When we put this thing back together, we'll take a buffing wheel and clean the flange up to where it seats up. We don't want no leaks. But I don't know which way they had this before, but shit, I'm too high. I gotta go down a little bit. Let me readjust here, huh? So you gotta get your valve in here, and it's really critical on these to get them centered about as best you can, because you'll have to test before you weld that piece of pipe here in this flange. You better make sure you get it centered right and make sure that butterfly opens all the way. So very, very critical type of situation there. What I like to do, time consuming. I love doing this kind of work though. Maybe to line up punch or something. Good. This side looks pretty square. Let's I got so much shit going on. Okay. So let's see if the valve opens up and closes without interfering with the flange. Happy with that. Okay. So turn loose of that with my, maybe I'll leave it on there. I'll just leave my crane on there. Shut the truck off for a minute. got an 8335R coming, and it's not Matt's fault. He's been waiting on a kit from Deere for like almost a year, waiting for this kit. And so he just called me. He said, "Hey, it's finally here." I said, "We've been using that tractor, you know, just to try to get by." But he said, "The damn kit finally showed up, and let's just get her done before spring so we can." He said, "I hate to throw that on you like that." He said, "I would have brought it in earlier, but shit, we couldn't get the parts." I said, "I understand, I understand." I said, "Get the son of a gun over here. Let's get her done." Just want to make sure flange is square, you know, with the world here when we go together here. Okay, good shape there, I think. Yep. Okay, so now all these holes should be pretty well lined up. So now 12-inch pipe. So the 12-inch will come in and okay, so the 12-inch was coming over and then making the turn. I see. Okay, well, we'll have to just fit her up. Now, I was measuring this 12-inch pipe where it was on the flange here, but you got to be careful. These concentric reducers, these pre-made ones, they're not all the same length. See the difference there? So, let me measure both concentric reducers, and then we'll have to minus that off the total measurement of the 12-inch section, I think, is what we'll do. So this concentric reducer is 4 inches in length. This one looks like maybe 3. Yep, this one's 3 inches. So it's so if you take into consideration a 1/2 inch flange, so you want to be at least a 1/4 inch inside. So we'll say we'll add a 1/4 inch to our measurement there. And they're right at 12 1/2 from there, which would be 12 3/4 to add our 1/4 inch. But we're going to take away 1 inch. So basically 11 3/4 of an inch is what we need to cut our 12-inch piece of pipe at. Okay. Well, I was just a little bit shy here. Yeah, my math was off. Anyway, I'm a little rusty. I used to do this all the time, but a little bit rusty on my measurements there. I don't know what happened there. It is what it is. I cut a small chunk and put in there, and what we're gonna do is I've got it tacked really good here. I got this piece bolted on here. Now we just gotta measure whatever it is with my tape. We gotta cut a piece and go in there. We gotta saddle that pipe. Oh, there's my tape measure right there. And then I'm gonna load the whole thing up and take it home with me and weld it all together in the nice cozy shop. Get out of this wind blowing miserable son of a bitch here. If I cut a chunk of pipe about right in the middle, cut one probably about 11 inches. maybe just a touch over, maybe 11 1/8. How long was this one here? Long side of it, where it's saddled down there, is right at 11 inches. Well, I'm pretty close on what I'm thinking there. Just make sure. Let me look at this again. Well, guys, it's got everything tacked together on this. I was sitting there. I realized that the wind is blowing. There ain't much I can do to control the weather. So anyhow, I got everything tacked together. I saddled this 6-inch pipe to go up against the 12-inch pipe, and got everything tacked together. So yeah, I used to do a lot of this, and I had a pipe fitter's handbook when I used to do a lot of this, and I had it down pretty good. I mean, I used to, towards the end of working for the company that I used to work for, I made all my everything. I made the laterals, I made the 90s, the 45s, everything, everything but the flanges. I even made some of the concentric and the eccentric reducers. That's time consuming when you're doing that. When you're making reducers, basically, if you want to do it with just a welder and a cutting torch, you can do what they call orange peeling and make your own reducers. But it's just very time consuming, so if you buy them, it's a lot quicker. But anyways, I'm just going to roll everything up, and I'm just so tired of being out here in this damn wind that I just want to crane the thing in. I got everything tacked together, and I'm going to take it back to the shop and get out of the wind, and we'll just go around every seam on it and get her all welded up to where it's we're pretty confident that we shouldn't have any leaks. So I'll show you the completed project there. Well, guys, I thought I'd show you the completion of this. I told you I would, so following through with what I said. So went around there and welded everything up, got everything cleaned up. Basically, all I got to do is crane it back in the truck, and we'll take it out there and install it and bolt everything together, and that'll be it. So anyways, turned out all right. You start taking a 10-inch piece of pipe and multiply that for circumference times 3.14, and it's a long ways around a 10-inch piece of pipe. And then you go to the 12-inch times 3.14. It's a long ways around it too. So you start taking into consideration the passes that you make around all these to weld all this up, and it's a lot of welding. So anyway, it'll last probably a good 10 or 15 years, and have to do it again.